Hello. This comes from the introduction of Robert Chambers' Book of Days, Volume 1. Time and its natural measures. Time is one of those things which cannot be defined. We only know or become sensible of it through certain processes of nature, which require it for their being carried on and perfected, and towards which it may, therefore, be said to bear a relation. We only appreciate it as a fact in the universal frame of things when we are enabled by those means to measure it. Thus the rotation of the earth on its axis, the process by which we obtain the alternation of day and night, takes a certain space of time. This multiplied by 366 gives the time required for the revolution of the earth around the sun, the process by which we enjoy the alterations of the seasons. The life of a well-constituted man will, under fair conditions, last during about 70 such spaces of time, or years, very rarely to 100. The cluster of individuals termed a nation, or constituting a state, will pass through a certain changes, inferring moral, social, and political improvement in the course of still larger spaces of time, say several centuries. Also certain processes of decay requiring, perhaps, equal spaces of time, which such matters it is the province of history to deal, and actually from this source we learn pretty clearly what has been going on upon the surface of the earth during about 4,000 years. We have also reason, however, to conclude that our planet has existed for a prodigiously longer space of time than that. The sculptors of Egypt are held by scholars to imply that there was a political fabric of the monarchical kind in that country 34 centuries before the commencement of our present era. Rude weapons and implements of stone, flint, and bone found interred in countries now occupied by civilized people point, in like manner, to the existence of savage nations in those regions at the time long before the commencement of history. Geology, or the examination of the crust of the earth, still further prolongs our backwards view of time. It shows that the earth has passed through a succession of physical changes extending over a great series of ages. That during the time, the vegetable and animal life underwent great changes, changes of one set of species for another, an advancement from invertebrate to vertebrate, animals from fishes to reptiles, from reptiles to birds and mammifers. Of these, man coming in the last. Thus it has happened that we could now give a biography of our little world, in which the 4,000 years of written history would be multiplied many times over. And yet this vastly extended period must, after all, be regarded as but a point in that stretch of a duration which we call time. All beyond, where related facts fail us, above all, a beginning or an end of time, are inconceivable. So entirely dependent is our idea of it upon measurement, or so purely rather may it be said to consist of measurement. What we are more immediately concerned with at present is the year, the space of time required for a revolution of the earth around the sun, being about 1/70th of the ordinary duration of a healthy human life. It is a period very interesting to us in a natural point of view, because within it's included all seasonal changes, and of it nearly everything else in our experiences of the appearances of the earth and sky is merely a repetition. Standing in this relation to us, the year has very reasonably become the unit of our ordinary reckonings of time when any larger space is concerned. Above all, in the statement of the progress and completion of human life, an old man is said to die full of years. His years have been few, is the afflicting expression we use regarding one who has died in youth. The anniversary of an event makes an appeal to our feelings. We also speak of the history of the nation as its annals, the transactions of its succession of years. There must have been a sense of the value and importance of the year as a space of time from a very early period in the history of humanity, for even the simplest and rudest people would be sensible of the season's difference, and of the cycle which the seasons formed, and would soon begin, by observations of the rising of the stars, to ascertain roughly the space of time which that cycle occupied. Striking, however, as the year is, and must always have been to the senses of mankind, we can readily see that its value and character were not so liable to be appreciated as were those of the minor space of time during which the earth performed its rotation on its axis, that space within which the simple fathers of our race saw light and darkness exchange possession of the earth, which gave themselves a waking and a sleeping time, and periodicized many others of their personal needs, powers, and sensations, as well as a vast variety of the obvious processions of external nature, must have impressed them as soon as reflection dawned in their minds, and the day, we may be very sure, therefore, was amongst the first of human ideas. While thus obvious and thus important, the day, to man's experience, is a space of time too frequently repeated, and amounting consequently to too large numbers, to be readily available in any sort of historic reckoning or reference. The year is a period too large to be in any great degree available, until mankind have advanced considerable in mental culture. We accordingly find that amongst rude nations the intermediate space of time marked by revolution of the moon, the month, has always been first employed for historical indications. This completes the series of natural periods or denominations of time, unless we are to agree with those who deem the week to be also such, one determined by the observations of the principal aspects of the moon, as half in increase, full half in decrease, and change, or simply by the arithmetical division of the month into 4 parts. All other denominations, as hours, minutes, etc., are unquestionably arbitrary, and some of them comparatively modern, in fact, deduced from clockwork, without which they could never have been measured or made sensible to us. This will end on a poem from the Antiquary titled On Time. Why sit'st thou by that ruined hall, thou aged carle so stern and grey? Dost thou in its former pride recall, or ponder how it passed away? Know'st thou not me? The deep voice cried, so long enjoyed, so oft misused, alternate in thy fickle pride, desired, neglected, and accused. Before my breast like blazing flax, man and his marvels pass away, and changing empires wane and wax, are founded, flourish, and decay. Redeem mine hours, the space is brief, while in my glass the sand grains shiver, and measureless thy joy or grief, when time and thou shalt part forever. Thank you.